Hi everyone, my name is Charlie and today I want to talk about why I read. I read for a similar reason to why I write, and that's because I just really enjoy literature. When I was younger, it was a challenge. Basically, I always thought I was better than people said I was. I'm the same now, except I can get away with it because I'm an adult, and if people say I'm not as good as I think, I'll just walk away. When I was younger, at school you used to have reading sets, and I was never in the set I wanted to be in. I wanted to be in the top reading set, reading books for my age that were apparently the hardest books for my age group, and I wanted to be reading them terribly. I can remember some teacher saying to me at some point that if I read all of this set of books that they would give you from your set reading, you might get the chance to move on to these higher tier books. So I started reading these books religiously. Like, I was taking them home and I was reading them in one night, and my parents were probably really annoyed at this point because I just kept coming home with a new book every day and like sitting there and reading it. In fact, my mother gave up on reading with me at one point and she's like, you know how to read, you can do it. So there was a lot of silent reading, and I don't know whether this just fit with my deciding to be a writer quite young. I never really owned books, so books were always a treat. When I got them, it was a treat to own them, and I think that's why I don't like creasing books or anything, because I held them to such esteem when I was a child. And so, as I say, the first book I ever owned was Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, because we just heard it in the same year that I'm talking about at school. We had the first book read to us by a teacher, and she read Harry Potter, and then I saw J.K. Rowling do an interview. I was like, she was poor, then, and because she was poor and I'm poor, that means that I can be a writer. This is the career for me. Also, it might have done with my complete bone idleness, I don't know. Then I owned the first 4 Harry Potter books, and those were the only books that I owned for ages. And then I started getting pocket money, and a shop around the corner from me started selling books, so I also stockpiled a few Jacqueline Wilson novels. But I had a very limited amount of books on my shelf. I stole books from my grandparents' house because I just wanted my bookshelf. I had one bookshelf to be full. I think with that there also came this joy for reading. Harry Potter didn't get me into reading, but it told a story that obviously people enjoyed. Then I became the reader in the family, and that's kind of where I've stuck. I have hundreds of books now, spanning a wide range of genres. When I went to high school, English was my favourite class, and it really is the only class that I cared about. I'm sorry to any teachers that were there, I didn't care about any other class. And yes, I was the lonely child who used to go into the library and just spend my breaks looking at books. I was weird. I'm still weird now. Again, I get away with it. It's become this thing that I just always read. If I don't read, I don't feel myself. And as with everything, you get in the mood for certain books. It's just the type of person that I am. I didn't take these books down behind me, so you know exactly when I'm filming this. Reading, I imagine, has always been some form of escapism, but it's also something that I have grown to love and enjoy, and is ingrained into my soul like football is ingrained into other people's. And hopefully I continue to read. Hopefully and people continue to write stories that I want to read, and if they don't, I've got all of these stories behind me. How about you? Do you read? Why do you read? What do you think makes you a reader? I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, that is all.